Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having an excellent day today. For this week's video, we are going to be installing one of the world's most advanced Trem systems. So I'm super excited about that. Let's take a look at what we got. Now the Trem system that we're going to install today is from a company called Coherent Sound and Light. And this is the Sophia 2.22, which is designed for Strats. Now I first heard of Coherent Sound and Light a few years ago when I saw some absolutely amazing looking Trem picks show up online. So I'll show you guys a few right now. But basically, you've got this really futuristic and unique looking Trem system with extended fine tuners. So like on this Ibanez, I've got these fiddly little thumb wheels. On the Coherent Sound and Light one, you've got those extended ones that really allow you to be precise and really, easy to grab and use. So maybe in the future, I'll be able to install one of those on this Ibanez, but for now, we're gonna look at the Strat system. Okay, so let's check out what's in the box. Move that off to the side. Okay, so let's take a look at the Trem system here first, which is the main deal. So I'm just going to let you guys look at it. It's absolutely amazing. Feels so high quality in every way, and like I said, it's super advanced. So we'll talk about some of the exact features and what they do as we install. But I just want to give you guys a quick, close-up look at how this thing is made and what it looks like. Now also in the box we have our Trem arm, which is pop in with a locking collar, so there's not going to be any play in the Trem system at all, which is going to be amazing. And it's got a really ergonomic kind of cool tip on it too. So it is threaded, so I'm sure you could put a traditional Strat one on, but I'm going to try with this. It looks like it's going to be very comfy. And then we've got a box of hardware in here. I'll open it up and let you guys take a look. Now in the hardware bag, we've got a little section of tools, including a little mini wrench for adjusting the Trem stabilizers, which we're going to talk about in a second. We've got copper-coated springs and a spring claw, and then we've got our 2-point posts where the Trem rests on, and then even a few little felt pads here that can be cut and put under the Trem so it doesn't mar your, the surface of your guitar. Now the guitar that we're going to be installing the Sophia 2.22 on is this Fender American Select Stratocaster, which is, in my opinion, the best production Strat ever made. Just a beautiful, stunning instrument, looks good, sounds amazing, and plays astonishingly well. Just a beautiful, ultimate Strat for sure. Now, let down a little bit by the Trem system, which is just the regular one, so no pop in the arm. Even with springs in the Trem hole or whatever, Teflon tape and all that stuff, I can't get the wiggle out of this. And it really, bugs me because I really like to use the Trem and the guitar is so, perfect otherwise. So I'm really excited to put it in. Let's change the camera down and do the installation. All right, the first thing we need to do is just loosen off the claw springs a little bit, and then we're going to remove the old Trem system. So I'm just going to back off these screws, as you can see, just to take some of the tension off the system. And then you can just grab a set of pliers or a screwdriver, whatever you want to do, and just unhook the springs from the claw and then pull out the old springs. And this will enable you to just pop the Trem out the other side. Okay, with the springs off, this will just pop right out. There we go, old Trem system removed. Let's start with the new one. All right, let's set the new Trem in place and just see how it's gonna sit on the Strat and what it's gonna look like. So there we go. Definitely goes with the modern aesthetic of this Strat. So this is a thoroughly modern Strat through and through. And I think the Trem system here just looks absolutely cool. Definitely makes it look a little bit, more high performance. Now there's a couple features that really make this the most advanced Trem system I've ever seen. First of all, it's the dual stabilizers. So right here, there's sort of spring-loaded little mini pistons right here. Now these guys will sit up against the front edge of the Trem cavity right here. So they're gonna stabilize the whole Trem. Now that's gonna help it really return perfectly to zero. As you bend it one way, the springs will pull it back towards and it's gonna rest right on those pistons and, make sure that tuning is absolutely spot on. So that's really cool. And then as you bend up, you can also set the pressure so that, as you're pulling up on the bar, you'll feel a little bit resistance from the pistons. And that way you can set the flutter. If you want your Trem to be like absolutely 100% floating, you can get rid of the pistons, or you can set, the preload so that the Trem will feel exactly like you want it to. Now the other really cool feature is the global tuning thumb wheel. So if your guitar goes out of tune because of humidity changes, temperature changes, or in and out of its case or whatnot, you can tune or retune the whole thing using this little thumb wheel. So very clever design. And of course, if you had a full locking system, this would be, absolutely incredible too. I've just got locking tuners on this particular Strat, so it won't be as important, but I can't wait to try it out and just see how it works. So really cool design, and obviously it's got sort of a two-piece brass block and steel. So, and as you use the tuner, this whole mechanism can slide forward or back. So that's going to be really neat. Let's install this thing and see how it plays. All right, I've got the Sophia sitting on the front two posts. Now I just used the stock fender ones. If I was doing a complete build, I would probably use the ones included in the kit, but for now it'll be okay. And then I think because I use 9-gauge strings, I'm just going to use 3 springs here. So they give you 4 in case you probably use heavier strings, but let's just install these here. And I'm going to use the stock Fender spring claw as well, so I don't have to, resolder the ground wire and stuff like that. So, okay, let's do one more here. There we go. Okay, so there's our springs in place, and away we go. Now at this point of the install, I know some of you guys might be thinking, how is he going to put his strings through the back of the block? Well, the short answer is I'm not going to, because I ordered the version with the tuning thumb wheel and the dual stabilizers, which means you need this really cool block, which means the strings have to be top loaded. Okay, but the guys at CSL make a regular version, so if you wanted to put your strings through the back or the top, I think they make a version that's either or. 100% you can do that, but I really wanted to show off some of these advanced features and try them out for myself. All right, so let's install our strings. All you have to do is slide it in the back here and pull it through, pull it tight, and then we'll put it into our locking tuners. Okay, as you guys can see, we've got the Sophia 2.22 Trem installed, and boy, does it look cool. So you can see the Sophia branding on the top side of the Trem. I'll link to this exact model in the video description, but like I said, they have other models as well. But really, really cool looking Trem. Really neat. The bar stays exactly where you need it, so you can tighten the collar as much as you want and just get that perfect Trem feel for your individual needs. Now on the back side here, hopefully it'll show up. I'll try to bring it close to the camera. Now when I depress the Trem bar, you can see those 2 little pistons in there. They disengage, and then as you let go, they compress, and just ensure that your Trem returns perfectly to 0. Now the other advantage is because it kind of counteracts the forces of the spring, you can bend a note and it won't put your first string out of tune. So you can do your double stops and the whole Trem won't bend forward like a floating one. So that's a really great advantage. And of course then when you bend up, you can still bend your Trem up, but it'll just compress those little pistons. So it gives a really kind of a stiffer feel. But again, that's all fully adjustable. All right, you guys, with everything installed, let's do a little bit of a jam, try this baby out and see how she handles. All right, some final thoughts on the Sophia 2.22. First of all, I think it looks absolutely awesome on this Strat. Really modern look, which suits it well, but without being too over the top. I think it just looks really sleek and really nice. Perfect to rest your hand on when you're palm muting. The little stabilizers will actually hold it in place, so you can actually rest it on there without, totally putting the bridge out of tune. You can also bend up any of your other strings and it won't tip the whole trem forward, which is really nice for certain players who like that. You can hear and feel the pistons engaging, even though they're kind of soft. I'll just be quiet and work the trem for a bit here. So it's not really loud, but you can definitely feel the difference in the spring rate as you go down, and then when it comes up and starts to compress and use the stabilizers, which will, again, like I said, help it achieve perfect return to tune, which is absolutely awesome. So performance is great, looks is great, really unique trem. Thanks so much for coming along on this little mod. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys next Monday with a new video. Have a great week.